As I moved through the shimmering crystal forests of Crystalia, the brilliant hues danced in the light, each step echoing the memories of my ancestors. The towering formations, remnants of a once thriving civilization, whispered stories of a time when our world flourished in harmony. My fingers brushed against the cool surfaces of the crystals, feeling the pulse of energy that coursed through them. But today, something felt different. A disturbance rippled through the air, a tension that sent shivers down my spine. What is happening? I murmured to myself, scanning the horizon. The tranquility of the moment was shattered as I sensed a foreign presence, something sinister lurking beyond the trees. My heart raced as I crouched low, peering through the foliage. In the distance, a shadow descended from the sky, a Zephyr scout ship, sleek and menacing, its metallic skin glinting ominously against the radiant backdrop of Crystalia. I clenched my fists, determination surging within me. They won't take my home, I vowed, my voice barely a whisper. The Zephyr were ruthless, driven by greed, seeking to harvest the very essence of my world. I had witnessed their destruction before, and I would not allow it to happen again. As I stealthily approached the landing site, my heart pounded in my chest. I could see the Zephyr disembarking, their lithe forms moving with a predatory grace. Look at their technology, I thought, noting the strange devices they wielded, glowing with a menacing energy. I had to gather more information. I crept closer, my breath steady, focusing on their harsh guttural language as they discussed their plans. "Prepare the extraction units," one of them commanded, his voice dripping with malice. "We'll drain this planet dry." My blood boiled at the thought. I had to act quickly. Returning to my hidden sanctuary, I activated the holographic communication device, my fingers trembling with urgency. I needed help, someone from outside Crystalia who could understand the threat we faced. "Isabella," I whispered, a name that held hope and trepidation. She was a brilliant scientist from Earth, her mind sharp and curious, but I knew little of her true intentions. "You must see the beauty and danger of this place. We need you." As the hologram flickered to life, I felt a mix of dread and anticipation. The fate of my world rested on this desperate call for aid. Would she answer? As I sat in my dimly lit lab on Earth, the holographic screen flickered, and Hector's image came into focus. My heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The shimmering crystals of Crystalia, a world I had only read about in obscure scientific journals, were now calling to me. His voice was deep, resonating with an urgency that sent chills down my spine. "Isabella, I need your help. The Zephyr are coming, and they will stop at nothing to exploit the power of the crystals." I leaned closer, my curiosity piqued. "What do you need me for, Hector? I'm just a scientist." "You possess knowledge, resources, and most importantly, an understanding of the human mind. We must work together if I am to protect my home." His eyes burned with a fierce determination, and I could see the weight of his responsibility etched across his face. As I gathered my team, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than just saving a planet. The crystals held untold secrets, and I was eager to uncover them. "Listen up, everyone," I announced, my voice firm. "We're heading to Crystalia. This isn't just a scientific expedition, it's a chance to make history." The team buzzed with excitement, unaware of my hidden agenda. Once aboard the ship, the atmosphere shifted. "Are we sure about this?" Paul, one of my colleagues, asked, his brow furrowed. "What if Hector isn't what he seems?" I brushed off his concerns with a wave of my hand. "We're scientists. We investigate, we learn. Besides, think of the discoveries awaiting us. The Zephyr might be a threat, but they could also lead us to breakthroughs we can only dream of." As the ship broke through the atmosphere and approached Crystalia, my breath caught in my throat. The landscape was breathtaking, towering crystals refracting light into a kaleidoscope of colors. "Incredible," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the hum of the engines. When we landed, Hector stood waiting, his silhouette framed by the crystalline horizon. As he approached, I could feel the weight of his gaze scrutinizing our every move. "Welcome to Crystalia," he said, his tone cautious. "I hope you understand the gravity of this mission." I smiled, masking my true intentions. "We're here to help, Hector. Together, we can protect your world." But in my mind, I was already plotting how to harness the very secrets he so desperately wanted to keep hidden. The dance of trust and deception had begun, and I was ready to play my part, whatever the cost. As I led Isabella and her team through the shimmering corridors of crystalline formations, the air crackled with tension. The light refracted through the massive crystals, casting a kaleidoscope of colors around us. But my mind was focused on the gravity of the situation. The Zephyr were not just invaders, they were predators, and every second we spent here could be our last. "Look at this one," Isabella said, kneeling beside a massive, pulsating crystal that glowed with an ethereal blue light. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of wonder and ambition. "What do you call it?" "It's known as the Heart of Crystalia," I replied, my voice grave. "It's more than just a crystal, it's a symbol of our existence. It holds the energy of our ancestors and the essence of our world. The Zephyr seek to drain it dry." Her team exchanged glances, their skepticism evident. "And how do we know this isn't just a ploy to keep us here?" one of the scientists challenged. "What if you're leading us into a trap?" I felt a surge of frustration. "You think I would risk everything for a mere trick? I am the last guardian of this world. If the Zephyr succeed, there will be nothing left for any of us. We must unite." Before anyone could respond, the ground trembled beneath us. The air filled with a low hum, and my instincts screamed at me to move. "Get to cover!" I shouted, and we scrambled as the sound of an explosion echoed in the distance. Zephyr ships descended from the sky, their metallic forms casting shadows over the crystal forest. "They've found us!" I yelled, adrenaline coursing through my veins. "We need to fight back." Isabella's team hesitated for a moment, but I could see determination flicker in their eyes. "Tell us what to do, Hector," she called, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Stay close and follow my lead." I commanded, rallying them as we took our positions. We fought side by side, humans and Crystalians together, an alliance born from necessity. The Zephyr were relentless, but we pushed back, combining our strengths and strategies in a way I had never anticipated. As the dust began to settle post-battle, I glanced around at the weary faces of Isabella's team. Despite our differences, we had forged a bond under fire. But as we regrouped, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. What lay ahead was uncertain, and I sensed a hidden agenda lurking beneath Isabella's determined facade. That night, while the remnants of the battle still hung in the air, I caught Isabella lingering near the entrance of an ancient chamber. She seemed entranced by something within, her expression a mix of awe and greed. I stepped forward, my presence startling her. "What have you found?" I demanded, my instincts on high alert. "Just a relic," she stammered, quickly masking her emotions. "I'll share everything with you, Hector. We're in this together, right?" I nodded slowly, but doubt gnawed at my resolve. As the shadows deepened around us, I wondered if our alliance was as strong as it seemed, or if the true battle was yet to come. As I stood among the gigantic crystals, their luminescent glow casting ethereal shadows, I could feel the weight of my ancestors' legacy upon my shoulders. The team was busy repairing their ship, a cacophony of machinery and voices filling the air. I decided it was time to share the stories of my people, to weave a bond that could transcend the barriers between us. "Did you know," I began, my voice steady amidst the clanking tools, "that each crystal here is a memory of those who came before us? They hold the wisdom of our civilization." One of the scientists, a woman named Alara, paused and looked at me, her curiosity piqued. "What do you mean by wisdom?" I gestured toward a particularly large crystal, its surface shimmering with hues of blue and green. "This one, for instance, is said to contain the teachings of our greatest scholars. They believed that knowledge should not only be preserved but shared. It's a part of our duty as guardians." Ilara nodded slowly, her eyes reflecting the crystal's glow. "It's beautiful. I never thought of crystals as anything more than mere resources." "Yes, many do," I replied, glancing at Isabella, who stood a bit further away, her expression unreadable. "But they are living beings, in a sense. They resonate with the energy of our world, and if misused, they can bring great destruction." As I continued to speak, I noticed that some of the team members were genuinely captivated. I felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps these humans could be allies after all. But my heart still ached at the thought of Isabella's hidden agenda. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the sanctuary, I caught Isabella in a hushed conversation with a shadowy figure. My instincts screamed at me. I edged closer, straining to hear their words. "Once I have what I need," Isabella whispered, "the Zephyr will reward me handsomely. Their technology, combined with your crystals, will make me unstoppable. A chill ran down my spine as I realized the magnitude of her betrayal. I stepped back, my mind racing. I had to protect my home, but how could I confront her without revealing my knowledge? Suddenly, a piercing alarm shattered the night. The Zephyr had arrived, their ships blotting out the stars above. The humans scrambled, confusion and fear etched on their faces. "Hector!" Ilara shouted, her voice rising above the chaos. "What do we do?" I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. "We defend this sanctuary. We must fight together, or we will lose everything." As I rallied the team, I couldn't shake the feeling that the lines of loyalty were blurred. Would Isabella stand with us, or would she choose her ambitions as the Zephyr descended upon us? The battle had begun, and with it, the test of our true allegiances. The chaos of the Zephyr attack still echoed in my ears as I found myself surrounded by the cold metallic grasp of the alien captors. My heart raced with a mixture of fear and fury as I was dragged away from the sanctuary I had sworn to protect. The crystals shimmered in the distance, their vibrant colors almost mocking my helplessness. I could hear the frantic murmurs of Isabella's team behind me, their horror evident as they processed the betrayal that had just unfolded. "What have you done, Isabella?" One of the scientists, a young man named Marcus, shouted, his voice filled with disbelief. "You sold us out." Isabella stood at a distance, her expression unreadable. "I had my reasons," she replied coolly, her eyes darting between the Zephyr and the remaining humans. "The crystals could have given us unimaginable power." "Power?" Marcus spat, his voice trembling with anger. "You mean destruction. You don't understand what's at stake here." I struggled against my captors, trying to break free and reach them, but it was futile. The Zephyr laughed, their grotesque forms towering over me, their intentions clear as they reveled in my capture. I could feel the weight of their victory pressing down like a heavy shroud. Suddenly, I caught a glimpse of Isabella's face. For a fleeting moment, her resolve seemed to waver, and I realized something had shifted within her. The realization hit me like a pulse of energy. She was beginning to see the true value of Crystalia, not as a resource to be exploited, but as a world worth preserving. "Isabella!" I called out, my voice breaking through the din. "This isn't what the crystals were meant for. They are a legacy of my people, a reminder of harmony, not conquest." Her gaze met mine, and I saw the conflict brewing within her. "Hector E." Just then, the Zephyr leader approached, his eyes narrowing at our exchange. "Enough of this," he growled, raising a hand to silence us. "You will serve us, Guardian, or face the consequences." But in that moment of tension, the humans united, a sense of camaraderie igniting among them. Marcus stepped forward, his eyes blazing with determination. "We'll rescue you, Hector. We will fight back." As the Zephyr celebrated their perceived victory, I felt a spark of hope. Isabella's change of heart was palpable, and I knew that if we combined our strengths, we could turn the tide. "You have the power to change this, Isabella," I urged. "Help us." With a resolve that seemed to ignite the very air around us, she nodded. "Let's do this." The remaining team members rallied together, determination shining in their eyes. We were no longer mere allies. We had become a united front. The Zephyr may have captured me, but they would soon learn that the spirit of Crystalia, and its guardians, would not be so easily subdued. I felt the familiar pulse of energy coursing through the crystal formations around me, a heartbeat that resonated with the essence of Crystalia itself. After a harrowing series of events, I was finally free, standing shoulder to shoulder with Isabella and her team. The air crackled with tension as we faced the Zephyr leader, an imposing figure draped in dark armor that absorbed the light from the crystals, making it seem as though shadows had come to life. "Isabella, are you ready?" I asked, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling within me. I had to trust her now. Our fates were intertwined. "I've been studying the ancient technology," she replied, her eyes fierce with determination. "There's a way we can harness the crystal's power against them." As the Zephyr leader sneered at us, I could feel the weight of his gaze, a predator sizing up its prey. "You think you can wield the power of Crystalia?" he taunted, his voice laced with contempt. "You are nothing but insects to be crushed." "Not if we work together," I retorted, glancing at Isabella. I could sense her resolve solidifying. "Let's show them what unity can achieve." In a synchronized motion, we activated the ancient technology she had discovered, channeling the vibrant energy of the crystals. The ground trembled as beams of radiant light erupted from the formations, striking the Zephyr forces with devastating precision. "Keep pushing forward," I shouted, adrenaline surging as we advanced. The Zephyr, caught off guard, faltered momentarily, and we pressed our advantage. But as the battle raged on, a horrifying realization struck me. One of Isabella's team members, a seemingly innocent scientist named Dr. Voss, had been lurking in the shadows. I confronted him amid the chaos. "You were working with them all along, weren't you?" His smirk faded, replaced by a cold glare. "You've been too trusting, Hector. This planet's power belongs to the Zephyr. I was merely waiting for the right moment." Before I could react, Isabella stepped in, her voice unwavering. "Not anymore." With a quick motion, she activated a containment field, ensnaring Dr. Voss. As he struggled against his bonds, I breathed a sigh of relief. "We did it. Together," I said, turning to Isabella, gratitude swelling within me. "We have to protect Crystalia," she replied, determination etched on her face. "The secrets of this planet are too precious to fall into the wrong hands again." We stood united, the echoes of battle fading around us. Crystalia was more than my home, it was now a shared responsibility. Together, we forged a new alliance, bridging the gap between our worlds. I looked out at the crystal landscape, knowing it would endure, a testament to hope and cooperation for generations to come.